Everyone, welcome. I can't thank you enough for always being here. This has been such a great showing, and I can't thank you enough. Pam, you okay down there? You're okay down there? Perfect, okay. So Pam is actually with Tom, and Tom is our newest member, so we welcome you. Thomas Walker, and we're grateful that you're here, and I think you're going to like this committee. It's a good one. Good people. So
Tom and Pam are top volunteers at the senior center. One of our top, especially in kitchen work.
Oh, it's nice. That really is. That's great. And this week, because last week, I was kind of rushing in from the office, I put some things out ahead of time. I am really trying to take our town manager's lead on going paperless, and it's kind of tough, I know, for us. It's like get a little bit older with it, but it's so helpful to not have all the piles. So I'm trying to, I sent out everything. I know there's a problem with the email, and you were all great about getting back to me. We're working on that. If you did get all the attachments, great. If you didn't, I put a spread of them around. This one we're gonna talk to a little bit later, so I didn't want to print 14 of these or so in color, so I put a few around. The major purpose of our meeting tonight is going to be to talk about the warrant article. So we're going to move through the other items quickly. We're not going to address some of the things that we did talk about at the last meeting, but we will in March.
Could I just kind of add a little to that? The emails we all got, but there was one file none of us could open.
Yes.
So it wasn't us.
No, it was not.
So it's not the email, it was that file.
No, it was just
Okay.
strange, and Doug was great today. Yeah, it's strange, it's kind of haphazard. But could I get a motion to start our meeting of the Senior Resource Committee? Would anyone make that motion for us?
I will.
Thank you, Laura, thank you.
And a second?
And thank you so much, Marydell, great. Why don't we just go through our attendance so that our secretary can catch that. Valerie's not here. Kelly is, thank goodness. Lori, thank you, and Ilona, myself. Patrick, I believe, is coming. I'm sure he's just running from one thing to the next. Phil, we know that it's the last couple of days of
few more days.
Him taking on the role of our acting fire chief, which we're all grateful for, so I'm sure his plate is full, but we'll see him next month. Tim, thank you for being here as our liaison. Bob, thank you so much. You don't have to be here, and we really appreciate that you are, so thank you. And you were at the meeting last night until late, so thank you very much. And then Erin, I'm sorry we need to take our Erin off. We know she's doing great things. Marydell, thank you, and thank you for your emails. It's always helpful going back and forth. Jim, I've got to take off this list. Mary Ann is here, and John, we're all set. Oh, our Elizabeth is in here, and our Lois. Huh. And
Did
they
Elizabeth come back from Georgia?
Yes,
she came to
I was
visit.
gonna say, with this cold snap, I bet she stayed down.
She came in
Yes.
last week.
Yeah, she came in and said hi.
She
Yes.
actually told me on Sunday she would be here.
Yes,
Sorry,
yes, she
too.
stopped in last week, had a wonderful
Yeah.
trip to Georgia with family. Oh, and Dan, I'm sorry, Dan is our
That's
liaison. Very important because he can report back to our council that really has the final say on things like our warrant article. You were also here late last night, so thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And yes, so on our attendance, Kelly, that all worked well?
Got it.
All right, great. One thing that we did not do last week, and Debbie and I talked about this after the meeting, and I just didn't realize it, is that as your chairperson, I'm honored that you asked me, months back to take on this role. But technically, my understanding is that December, really, we should have, I should have opened it up to everyone. So if anyone else would like to, I know Valerie initially had said as the assistant chairperson that she was interested, maybe I guess it's almost been a year of taking over this role. But then a few weeks back, she came in and talked, and her schedule's a little tough right now. So I'm not sure, but does anyone have any thoughts on that? We can always wait until the next meeting, but I should have brought this up at the last meeting and just new to the position, I didn't realize
That's
that.
because you still want to do it.
Yeah.
No, I was very surprised when you wanted me to do it, so that was the one that I didn't see coming, but.
Or if anybody
yes,
wants to make a
yes.
motion.
I suggest we table that for the next meeting.
Perfect,
So
okay,
that we can
good.
spend more time on the
Thank you,
warrant
Marion, I
articles.
agree, at least now we've brought attention to it, and you can all think about it, because if someone, it's been a pleasure, and I'll be happy to share anything I have, so if anyone wants a good idea, Marion. All right, so, review and acceptance of the minutes, I believe you were all able to open them. I did print additional copies, I think that was the one some of you did have a problem with. just now, I put some on the table already. If anyone needs them, some of you might have brought your own copies. Kelly, exceptional job. I really appreciate it. The minutes from a secretary are just so important because they remind us of what happened a month ago. So-
She's really too good at it.
Yeah, thank you. And, you know, Deb before, I mean, really, a meeting really can't run without them. It's tough to do, and it's a job nobody
Listening in right
wants.
now.
So, does everyone need a few minutes? Did you have a second to look them over?
I didn't get to.
That's okay. Yes, there's some on the table. If anyone else needs
Well,
some.
he wasn't here, so he wouldn't vote
Oh,
anyways.
yes,
Yeah,
right,
anyone who's not
right.
here would
Because this
abstain.
is your first official meeting, that's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
But you'll have a copy of them, which is great. Does anyone have any questions, corrections, anything? No? All
No.
right,
Have a motion?
a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of
Thank
January.
you, Mary Jo. And
I
who
will
would-
second.
Okay, second, Mary Ann or Lori. All right, thank you, everyone. And let's see, and we have more of those floating around. Perfect. And then it's going to our liaison reports. We'll keep these somewhat brief, but why don't we do those now too, to just go around. We don't have a library representative now. We will, because they've got so much going on with their situation, so.
A little busy.
Right next door.
Does
yeah.
everybody
Plus
know
the police
about that?
department.
Is everyone aware of the library situation? You
The
know,
library's
yeah.
closed.
They had a pipe that broke, their mold was found, and, but talk about a committee or a group of people come together, what you can achieve. They spoke at the council meeting last night, and in a matter of a few days, literally, like from last.
3 days, I think.
3
wasn't it?
days,
3 days.
Friday-ish, through the week, I mean, it's incredible. They set up a new home, their office, for all the administrative work is here next door. The, community room at the police station is a acting library. In our Moose Hill today, I walked over
Yeah,
and it
they've
was
had
the
some
infant
stuff.
group was having their reading.
That's funny.
Take your breath away. There were about 8 little ones in there with their moms, as though, you know, nothing is missing a beat. So that's an incredible tribute to that staff that's over there. And working with the council, the town manager and his team, everyone. So it does show you when people work together and we all are rowing in the same direction, what can happen. So they are doing great. I don't think they have a timeline as to when it's gonna open, but it'll be okay. So, anything else on that? And Tim, do you, and Tim or Bob, like a little, like anything new going on?
Yeah, just real quick, as far as what we've got coming up, obviously this coming weekend, starting Friday nights, our
Oh,
school
deliberative.
board deliberative session, where we hope everybody shows up, fills the room. We'll go through all of the warrant articles in detail. People can throw things at us. As far as the major ones, obviously there's the operating budget, which we went back and forth with the administration, we tightened the belts as much as possible, ended up coming in at about 273,000 under default budget for the operating budget, so hopefully that passes. And then for Article 3, that's the warrant article for full-day kindergarten, which the proposal would put, move the full-day the kindergarten class into the elementary schools. And then Article 7 is our collaboration with the town side to create the district office building attached to this building. And if that passes, that would hopefully be in place next spring, if all goes well.
Yeah.
And just a little bit on the kindergarten, if that passes, that's a reduction of 12 cents per thousand on your taxes. By moving them into our existing elementaries, we're able to reduce bus runs, midday bus runs, and some staff by utilizing services where enrollment has dropped. So this is, I think, the first time I can remember the 40-plus years being in Londonderry that we've seen a reduction number on a warrant article to do something, and it's a benefit of education for the kids as well, so that's a big plus. And the district office project, as Tim said, is a joint venture with the town using fund balance, so there's no bond, which if we had to bond the project would cost taxpayers approximately $700,000 over 15 years. We're using fund balance from the town as well as the school to build it beside it and utilize some of these rooms during the day that are empty rather than build a large facility. So we've downsized the facility to get it back to the center of town and vacate a lease that costs us about $220,000 a year. end of that term life of that lease, and we would have to renew it if we didn't have a home. So this is a win-win on both warrant articles. So just a little oversight on.
Yeah, and
Please.
and the last note I
Right
would
here.
say on
Oh, please go.
the kindergarten article, another major reason that it's a reduction is because it increases the revenue from the state by moving from a half-day program to a full-day program. Because right now, for all of those kindergarten children, we get adequacy money based on only half of what a standard student gets. So if we move to a full-day program, it ups it by over $2,000 per child. And that's why it increases the revenue and makes it so it's a net positive for us right from the get-go.
What would the plan be for Moose Hill?
If it doesn't pass, then we still
Would stay
status
half
quo.
day.
No, but if
Status quo.
everything passes, what happens?
That's still
It
gonna be.
stays as
yeah.
the preschool and pre-K.
Oh, okay, and we,
Yes,
Yes,
still
it
be.
is. Yep.
okay.
Has it ever been considered, and it might have come up already,
I'm sure it's.
that the the Morrison House become the
The district
the
office.
district office? Is it too
Yeah.
small?
Yes.
If you divide the main the big room into little offices?
The footprint's like 3,600 square feet on that. We're putting up 5,300 next door, plus we need these rooms during the day for meeting rooms and that.
So it's not big enough,
It's not big
essentially,
enough,
yeah.
yeah, the footprint.
It would have
We
been a
looked
nice,
at that
it would have been a
about
nice win-win, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been, so.
Yeah, because you're gonna share these rooms, the
The
everything,
cafeteria.
it's not gonna be like a
Yeah.
standalone.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, yeah.
So I can honestly say our budget this year, being 273,000 below default with a negative 12 cents on Article 3 and a no tax impact to put district office back at the center of town and get out of the lease is just a great thing for the community.
That's
all
Article
around for
3?
Education, taxes,
Kindergarten.
and that,
Article
so
3,
a lot
Article
of hard work
7.
of a lot of people.
And Bob, what's the cost of the district office?
3.9 to build that, that's an additional, the last time we looked at it,
Oh,
was
it's
an
in there.
additional parking, we're
Article
adding
3
40
in the,
parking
school. This
spaces
is
up
3.
above,
Yep.
This is 3 in
which
the
will
town.
help,
Okay.
fill in for some
Three is the
spaces for
kindergarten,
LAPR
7 is
as
the-
well, because they run
7
out of
is the
space for
district
parking,
room.
so that they'll use that
Oh,
during
no,
the
it is, yeah,
weekends
yeah, it is.
and night, so.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
no.
design for the
District office
proposed
is
parking
7.
plan is to have it behind this back parking lot, so how we stage up from the lower one up. There'll be another one behind that where there are currently trees, they'll clear some of those. So it'll be that much closer to the baseball fields, but it'll be about 40 spaces.
And the reason I asked that is because redoing the Morrison House, we have a price of 3.3 million, and that's not doing the upstairs. So we're gonna have a new building right next door, and that you can utilize
The price
this.
of the building is 3.4,
Yeah.
and about 400,000 for the parking lot.
Yeah,
So 3.4 for 5,300 square feet,
yeah.
It's
so.
exciting.
You're
So
right.
it's a
Yeah.
win-win for
Yeah.
doing the
Definitely.
district office.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it makes our life so much easier too, like the way it used to be, the old days when
Yes.
you were next door. Actually, right, it was just wonderful because we could walk back and forth, so made it easier for parents, for town,
Oh,
everyone.
people come in all the time looking for.
Yeah, it
it.
was really great, so,
Did you?
yeah.
Where's the
and-
district office?
For all of us here, if you're in favor of these things, the only way things pass is one person tells one person tells one person. So it's an important thing that we do that March 10th, we have to scream it from the mountains, literally. And if you can't come out to vote, then they need to do absentee ballots. So, Tim, thank you, that's
And
excellent.
you should have both Bob and my cell phone. If you don't, please just ask
Yeah.
Sherry for it. She does.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. No, thank you so much. Anything else about the school department? All right, so, fire, police, I have a feeling Patrick might come in at some point, I don't have a message yet, but if so, then we can, he was going to talk to us about the senior expo update. At the last meeting, Patrick was going to talk to the school department about possible dates for that. We were saying we were hoping for the end of September. I think there was a small conflict there. He did send me an email last week saying that October 10th might be a possible day after he talked to Surge and to, different things, sporting events that are going on. So perhaps what we can do, if he comes in, we can address it, but, we'll kinda like, we'll keep moving forward, we still have plenty of time, but, the only thing he did mention is that is Columbus Day weekend, so your thoughts on that. So ponder it, think about it. If he sends an updated email, I'll forward it out to everyone so we can think about that. But the great thing about that is we are in phenomenal shape for it. Each year we get bigger and better. Ilona, you've got an exceptional handle on it, so.
Not anymore, I gave it away.
Oh, yeah, you made the procedures and policy
Yeah.
part of it, right.
She's not gonna-
Yes, so, that is as much as I have for Patrick, as far as our expo goes, and we'll address that more at the next meeting too. Ilona, I'm gonna turn it over to Ilona. We've been talking about, and Ilona's been in this week, about the town election, and at the last meeting, and I'll just do a 1 minute, Ilona, before we jump in. The one goal that I had set for is something that we should and will accomplish, is for the town election to have transportation for seniors who need it. And Ilona's been working hard on this with CART. And then we haven't even had a chance to talk, but I had some information from the school board. So you want to start, and then I'll jump in with it. It just happened at the end of the day.
We wanted to make the senior center a commuter point for people to go to the voting at the high school together, get dropped off at the front, not have to worry about handicap parking, and get picked up at the curb and taken back to the senior center. I did write to CART about it, and I got a response today finally. And I don't know if the news is that great. They can't, give us a CART bus per se because of the schedule that they already have. But they can rent us either the trolley or a school bus. And the price for each is around the $500 mark. From 9 o'clock, I suggested 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock, which is basically when these centers open. I don't want any seniors meeting and us being closed, if they're trying to meet to get on the bus. I want to be able to have them come in the building. So, and that's about the same price I paid for the trolley for Old Home Day one year. It was about $450. So this is from 9 to 2. They just continue doing continuous shuttles between the senior center and the high school. I'm a little tentative about it because I know that the voter numbers for non-primary election are lower. I also want to suggest, and I've put it in I'm writing my newsletter. It's not complete, you can't look at it. But I'm in the middle of publishing this new newsletter for March, April, and one of the things I talked about were voting. And I'm gonna give you a copy of
Yes,
this to see
thank you.
if you like
Oh, perfect, 'cause
where I
we-
worded it.
Thank
Because
you.
I'm putting that front and center. I also put something about voting right on the front page. And I referred to volunteerism, and I talked about, in terms of voting, if you have a say in the matter, if you want to have an opinion, you need to vote. It's as simple as that. So that's basically what it says. But the bus, I think it's looking a little sketchy. I don't know, not sketchy, just, I think it's not enough bang for a buck.
Right.
So then kind of jumping into that, so Ilona and I, we've been talking about it, so Ilona was forwarding me these emails, and just towards the end of the day, I just thought it couldn't hurt to reach out to the school board, to
I
the
was
school
gonna call
department.
Katie.
So I
and see.
reached out to Amity, and, cause Amity's been a big help, we have to create the elections, together and all of that, so just for the heck of it, cause Ilona was sharing the emails, and it was just disappointing with CART, but to be expected. And Amity was like, hey, do you want, we have, a van, we have this, and then I said, but how much? And Amity said it's the schools, so there would be no charge. I had the thought that maybe if we did like a 10 o'clock run and a 2 o'clock run, that could be announced ahead of time that, you could, whichever one you want to come to, maybe perhaps have sign-ups and take who we can if they don't sign up.
They'd have to be back by 2.
Yeah, and I mean, we can always move those times, that's just but basically Amity said, and then she did go back and forth with Katie because she asked who could drive, and I wasn't certain about that, but she solved that problem for us too. So she said that her and Katie Sullivan would be willing, and I'm sure, plenty of people would be willing to drive the bus, but it wouldn't cost us anything, it would be part of the property that we already have. We could probably even do 3 runs if we wanted to, but Ilona, we didn't even get to talk about
No,
any
I
of
think
that.
that's great, because I was gonna reach out to Katie.
Yeah, I just
Um,
kinda thought when CART kinda let us down on it.
But I also, if you wanna do a 10 or a 2, or I'm usually there till 3 or 3:30 anyway.
Yeah,
so
okay.
the
The
center's
center
not
doesn't have to be
open.
open, though,
Right,
does
just
it?
Well,
drop-
no, I
She'd
think
rather not have it closed.
I don't want it closed, cause if people
A
wanna come
potty
in, if it's
run or-
cold, or, yeah, potty
Potty
run,
run or
something
something.
like that, I wanna be respectful of their space and make sure it's convenient, cause they may as well just drive to the high school if they're gonna, do it
And
that
actually,
way.
they could be at the senior center doing what they normally do and then leave it to come vote after they finish whatever they're doing and then.
It's a Saturday, right?
No, it's a
No.
Tuesday.
Oh,
Tuesday.
yeah,
Tuesday.
March 10th, so it'll be
March 10th, yeah.
Tuesday.
It's a
on
regular
Tuesday.
voting day, and the
Yeah.
schools
You're
are
thinking
Deliberative-
the deliberative one,
Saturday,
that's
yeah.
it, yep,
Okay.
they seem to run together. But yeah, so that was good news, and it just kind of all came together by after 5 literally, so, yeah, so if everyone's in favor of that, I think it's a great opportunity,
That's
Ilona will
really good,
really.
yeah.
So you agree the
Um,
500s, I mean,
Yeah,
I have it
yeah.
in my budget,
Yeah.
in my special fund, but I just don't think, like I said, I don't think we'll have enough people to make it worthwhile.
No, and I do think if we have the resources here, wonderful opportunity, school and town, it's a school and town election to work together. And I think that's just a great visual too, plus it's not costing anything.
Yeah.
So I think that is just a great idea. So if everyone's in favor of it, we can figure out the semantics of the time. We will see each other again, will we? Oh, boy. Yes, we'll have one more meeting in March.
Yeah.
So in March, we can go back to it, but is everyone in favor of moving forward with that?
One quick question,
Miranda, yeah.
these buses would be able to accommodate elderly seniors, right? They can, like, I'm picturing the traditional school.
It's probably the
You need
small
a-
one.
No, you know what,
It's the
she,
small ones, isn't
good
it?
question, she did ask if we needed what we would need. I'm picturing more the small vans.
Right.
And if you have an extenuating circumstance, very good point, of someone who really needs more accessibility or something, make a note of it, cause we can figure that out if it's a couple
the school-
people. Good point, you know.
One of the school
Um,
buses has accessibility, doesn't it?
I'm not sure if the small
Maybe
ones
the
are-
small
Yeah,
ones, maybe the small
We'll figure
ones.
it
I don't think we'll need we don't have a lot of people who use
No.
cart and the lift and all that anymore, we
Yeah.
don't.
Good point, though,
It
something-
cycles through,
Yeah.
but, the most I see are people with walkers or canes
Yeah,
right now, but not
and they
completely.
can get up a step.
Yeah,
Yeah, all right, good.
Okay.
Yeah, so good point, and,
like a
yeah.
9, 11, and 1, 3 runs.
Yeah, I love that, I think that would be
Yeah.
fine with them. I just said 2 on a whim, but I think 3 is even better, for the early people, and yeah, so,
So let me just understand, if you pick people up at the senior center at 9:00,
Yep.
right? And it leaves to go vote, then it waits around for those people to
yes,
finish.
until they're done,
Bring
absolutely.
them back all at once.
Bring them back and wait for the next run.
Instead of having
Yeah.
a shuttle
And
that keeps
they're
going back
supposed to
and
get
forth.
priority in line too.
Yes, absolutely, they
Okay.
would pull up in front, our alert team would make sure that they're
Mhm.
guided in and that they have priority, absolutely, because remember the ballot's about 10 pages, Bob, probably, right? It's gonna be big, we probably got 7 or 8
Eight anyway.
on ours, and then, a couple, so back and front.
I've also asked what other things people want to suggest for the senior center, and I got some suggestions, and I'm still, because I've had some programs drop, and I want to kind of, shake things up, make things more interesting. One thing we did, it was like 2 years ago, we had 4 different speakers on 4 different Thursdays to speak to the warrant articles.
That's
And one of the
great.
things that I think they really need right now, and they did individual ones, like pickleball and the school board, and some of them were well attended, some were not. But I think having a session where the warrant articles are explained,
That's a big
um,
help.
it would help. And it
It's up
might be,
to
it
anybody,
might be
not
well
just the
attended.
seniors.
And I could, no, yeah, I'm happy, I mean,
You're right.
I can hold up to, 60, 70 people, and I know there've been different, like, that'll happen at the deliberative session too, but it's pretty well attended, but, I mean, we have, 27,000 citizens, so I think if somebody did a presentation, maybe the board,
Well,
I don't know.
especially like the school, the
Yeah.
first thing they say is kindergarten, I have no kids in kindergarten. I mean, you hear that all the time, kids, I don't have
You
any
have
kids,
grandkids.
but if 12 cents off my tax rate, that sounds good to me. So,
So I'm
kind of
inviting
stuff.
anybody who has a warrant article to come speak at the center. It would have to be on a Thursday between 11 and 2.
Oh, Ilona, that's phenomenal.
Okay,
That's a powerful idea.
and I have the space for it, I can do quick invitations, we can put it on websites,
Wow.
Facebook pages, and see who shows up. Yeah,
and doing the bus, this election would be a good precursor to see how it would work. because
bigger
for
ones.
the bigger ones in
Good
November and
point.
stuff like that, so
Good
that would
point.
be a really good
So
help.
at the beginning of the presentation, you could talk about the bus.
Yes, you're right, because then we're gonna have to publicize that, but
Yeah,
you'll do that, you
definitely,
do a great job
definitely.
with that. Maybe we can even, if it's not, well, too late for that, huh?
What?
Because it
No,
won't
she
apply.
hasn't
No, I haven't,
It won't
I'm
apply,
writing this, this is
yeah.
due Friday.
Yeah, but I mean,
I have
it'll
to
come
turn in the
out,
full
right.
article on Friday.
All right,
The
and
full,
anything else and all of that, that was phenomenal. I mean, we accomplished a lot in a short time with that, and we can make a difference, so that's
got the
excellent.
buzz, got that.
And then anything else too, we'll make notes at that meeting just before the election too. And just kind of going along with the election, Debbie and Carol, we have this up front of our office, we're doing everything we can to get more people to come out and vote. You hear my cry all the time, out of almost 19,000 voters,
I'll
we
take a
should
few
have a
votes.
lot more than 3,000 or 4,000 that come out. So, and again, that's all of our responsibility to get people out. But these we made up, we have one, if anyone has a place, I know the school department, but I've got like 6 here, I'll put them in the middle, and if anyone does, thank you. You know,
That's
and,
the nice one, we were gonna
yeah.
do one that said, don't complain if you don't vote, but they said I was being rude if I said
I don't
that.
even,
Just-
I don't want, well, that's what I'm saying in my article.
Good, because that's what it is.
Everyone, Mary
The
Ann.
parents get a lot of emails, right? Does an email go out through the schools to go vote?
I think they're willing to do, anything to
To
help.
staff,
Or to the parents?
Not to
Oh, like a
parents.
blast,
yeah, I think it's staff, I don't know that something goes out to the
like when the school's
community itself.
closed, everybody gets a thing saying
you
the
know-
school's closed or whatever.
Well, as Ilona and I are working with Amity, we'll put, I'm sure, like, you know, because we have on the town side, you know, you can, everyone that signed up for an email, you get the blast, so, and I'm sure the school has a great idea. So Ilona will remind each
Yeah.
other in
Because
our
they
notes.
blast us, so you get others out.
All right, everyone, so excellent. The election was another important thing that we needed to think about and talk about.
Sure.
Yes, Bob, Dan, sorry.
Suggestion, over here, could you write down where it is at the high school?
We should, yeah. Well, the
Okay.
gym, the
With
gym
high
will add
school-
it,
The high school
sure.
gym,
Yep, couldn't
You
hurt.
know?
Yep,
Please
absolutely.
add that, Alona, in a month.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we could even,
Just
yeah.
write it on.
Or
Sure,
a
big
Sharpie or
marker.
a paper.
Right.
Yeah, we'll add
Not
one of
with
those
my
with
handwriting.
marker.
Take
Good
because
idea.
if they've never voted, they're gonna look and go, oh yeah, where am I going?
I
And then I'll be wondering why no one came
print
out
it
to
and tape
vote.
it on there.
I'll be like, why did they come?
Knows where to go.
No, perfect, and you know, it wouldn't hurt to put the time on there, 6 to 8 p.m.,
Yeah.
6 in the morning until 8 a.m. Good, yeah, and we'll write it on with Sharpie this time, but we'll get more made up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
good
so
point.
it's, Long High School
Yep.
gym,
And then
Yeah.
6 to 8.
what
And
time,
the
6 to
library-
8?
6 to 8.
6 in the morning until 8 at,
It's on
8 p.m.
The
Yeah,
library has
6
always
a.m.
been really good at posting
we'll
stuff in
read
the
that
window.
too.
Do we
They
have
are
that
so
same
great.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
put something.
Yeah.
Don't even see
Mary,
it.
the
Where is it?
problem is now
Oh,
where the
below.
library's closed, but we can still
No, but I
utilize the
just know if
windows,
they had the
yeah,
same
yeah.
opportunity
And we'll
over
put some
here.
over in the gym of the school, you know, but, thank you. This was just a kind of a whim idea, but I'm glad you got, you know, hopefully, if it draws in 20 more voters, it's worth it, right? So, so now,
Oh,
we.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
question. Should we also suggest people commute from the senior center, or see how this pans out first? Cause people can come to, I mean, you guys, I know you guys could take like 6 people, right? Now, I'm just thinking some members
carpool.
would carpool, yeah, carpool. I don't know. What do you
Yeah,
of
I
that?
think like maybe information at the senior center and that, you know, would be localized to the
To
senior
the, just to
center,
the senior
yeah.
center, yeah.
And,
Not that you'd have all
yeah.
these strangers showing
Yeah,
up.
it'd be great if we had too many
I'm
people.
going in your car.
All right, everyone,
Priority.
I don't think we need a motion on any of that, anyone, am I correct? I don't think we need a motion on anything. So I do wanna turn it over to the most pressing issue that we have, and that's the warrant article on the table. It's actually warrant article 22. John has been working on it since last year. On the table, I'm trying not to print too many because we are gonna try to, you know, be respectful of the paper. And it's just so much less clutter, which is, we're so grateful for, but this is the article, the way it's written. John has been doing, and part of what I did send to is John wanted to create a summary, an outline of the purpose, the benefits, the why of it.
That's what you have.
And then when John and I talked about it, he wrote all that up for us, but he wanted it to be more condensed. So we, John thought that our Kelly, as our secretary, would, if she could and had time to look at it for us, if she could kind of put her twist on it, and she did. And I didn't include that in what I sent everyone, but I do have it here. So, or do you have it there, John?
I got some copies.
You got some, and I do too, so, but this is what Kelly came up with, and John, I'm gonna turn it over to you, and then we'll jump in as necessary, but, take the, here, I'll start some, we'll just go around, I guess. Yeah.
No, they got plenty, there's plenty of.
And Dan,
Oh, I
if you
can
have
give you an
anything
extra.
from the council
This is what
perspective
they're
on
doing.
it.
In case
anything
you know,
thank you.
as,
This is
Do you have a selection? I don't wanna steal from you.
Okay, this is good for you.
John, is that all you need me to say on it right now? Just,
Beg your pardon?
well, is that all you need me to say on it, and then you just take it over from here and we'll jump in?
I think so, yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Kelly again. She did, I think, an outstanding job of taking my less than perfect document and turned it into a very nice document. So, thank you.
Thank
you for
asking.
And I'll be honest with you, I was out all day and I got home, about a half hour before I had to leave for the meeting. So I haven't actually read this more than once. But I read I started reading the first part and I was saying, yes, this is an excellent document that I shouldn't say think we can use it. I think it also works for a handout. I think we can use this in conjunction with this, and I think we can use it at the deliberative session, okay? And, well, I think we just pushed this a good long ways. Now, what I was working on last night was the questions deliberative session that can come up. And the other issue was I went to the last budget committee meeting, not probably the one before last, and at that time they were adamant that they were planning on trying to amend our warrant article in deliberative session. And what they wanted to do is, if you look at our warrant article, in terms of the usage of what it is, we have public transportation, but there's 3 or 4 other things in there, okay? They wanted to strip those out and just leave transportation in there. Now, I don't know if they're actually going to do that or not, but right now I'm assuming that they are. So, that's where my frame of mind was last night, dealing with that. And as I'm going through that, I was thinking back to our first warrant article. And our first warrant article had two items on it. It was transportation and something was called pedestrian facilities. The pedestrian facilities is a wide open, I've actually brought the descriptions with me. But to make a long story short, the pedestrian facilities, which we wanted in one of the items that is already in there, okay, which is roadway improvements. Basically, both of those articles would allow us to what we were trying to do as a secondary use of the money, which is to start trying to improve the safety on the roads. And I didn't realize that until last night when I started looking at it, and I also realized that I was concentrating on just this one item, which was the transportation aspects. And I had completely dropped in my thinking this secondary piece that we want to get in there. So once I saw this, I said, geez, we have to get something in. It's a secondary use of the money, but we have to get something in for the deliberative session to talk about that. Now, what the budget committee wants to do, okay, it sounds good. It sounds like it's only transportation, they are extraordinarily, what's the right word? suspicious, I guess is a reasonable word, that's probably the softest one, of town government, and I guess the council in particular. And their fear was, with those other items in there, sooner or later somebody will start picking and chewing, okay, and come up with using the money in another way. And I don't think that will happen, but it's not beyond the realm of possibility. But in any case, what I'm thinking about doing now in that problem that they have go hand in hand, okay? A warrant article with just transportation, okay, especially because of the way this money's coming in, is not appropriate. And it's not appropriate because the money that's coming in it's a spigot. We think about a bucket and it's got 3 spigots on it, okay? The one spigot is the money that rolls in from the $5 every day, forever. Well, not forever, somewhere or another the cars will go, but for a long time. And then there's 2 other spigots. The other 2 spigots are the bigger spigot, which is taking money out for the transportation part, and the other spigot now, when I started thinking about it, is this secondary use of the money, okay? Without those 2, even in our warrant article, we run the risk of the money coming in just for transportation, and all of a sudden, something happens, okay? And I can give you a perfect example of what can happen. And this sounds far-fetched, but there's a House Bill 1649 floating around in Concord. And what that warrant article says in essence is they want to stop the towns from giving any money to a nonprofit organization, which CART happens to be, unless for those services they go out and get third-party bids. So they want the towns to go out and give bids for whatever okay. Now, I don't think that could possibly pass, okay? But it's possible. I mean, the lunatic fringe is floating around all over, and it's possible some crazy thing like it happen. And I'm thinking, suppose it does happen, okay? Now, we would eventually get around that, but we'd have to, one of the spigots has got, the money's still coming in, but the spigot's turned off. And in a lot of ways, because transportation and time, you can't go back and make up transportation for last week. Last week's gone. So that means you can readjust where you spend some of this money temporarily. But anyway, you need that extra spigot in there. Now, the warrant article, the way it stands, has 3 or 4 other uses, but one of them becomes extremely useful to us because of the secondary use of the money that we want to use for trying to fix the roads, the sidings. There's people that don't want to go walk across the street to get their mail for the mailbox because of the traffic situation and the cars going too fast and the line of sight. There's a whole bunch of reasons. So we can't, with this warrant article, we can't possibly solve the pedestrian problem. But I think what we can do is get something started. If it's not, trying to fix the line of sight along the roads or and things like that, okay? It's something else. But the point is, this is like, it's like the Lions Hall on steroids, okay? We've been talking about Lions Hall for 3 years, okay? But people have been talking and moaning about the pedestrian problems walking around town. And it's gotten extremely bad, I think, after COVID, because for whatever reason, an awful lot of people have started walking since COVID, at least in my small section of the town. So we need to start doing something about it. And if it isn't this, it's something else. But my point is, I think we ought to use some of this money, because I think we'll always have some surplus money every year on the way these contracts work. And the other, well, I was at it, and that put me into, how how will this work? Okay, who's gonna manage the spigots? Okay, and then the other thing is, you have, this is called a transportation reserve, and they're using the word reserve, I think, for a reason, because you never spend every dime. If you have this for the money coming in for a new fire truck, you get the money in, spend the truck, spend the money and it's gone. But we're doing a service, okay? So the service is gonna continue and continue. How much of the money every year that comes in, shouldn't you spend, okay? How much of it should you hold back, so whatever happens, we can keep the service going without pulling the rug out from under all the people that got used to it? And all those things play into, that's almost like a little small tank on the side that you fill with another spigot for the reserve. So all those things have got to be kind of worked out. But I think we have to make the point in the presentation that taking all those other items out, what the budget committee is doing, is bad. First of all, it takes away one of the things that we want to do with the money, and second of all, it only leaves one spigot in the pot, which is it's irresponsible way to be handling money. All that being said, in my car today, leaning the laptop against my computer, I started writing something, and all I really got written down is, here's the problem, here's the kinds of problems but somehow we got to bring that point up at deliberative session to try to offset this nonsense about just changing it to one article.
Does everyone understand sort of like what happens at deliberative? Because it's a little confusing. So John's concern with this is that the warrant article is the way that the council has agreed to it, the budget committee. Not everyone was completely in favor of it, but it's moved to the ballot as was promised. At deliberative, Article 22 could come up, it's read, and there could be, when they ask the public for any comments or concerns, maybe it'll be crickets, and that's kind of what we're hoping for. But given what the budget committee said, and Councilor Busher, you were there with it, it sounds like they might bring John's, like what he's concerned about, forward and say, no, we think it should go back to that, it clearly states cart. And then the concern is, will everybody have the interest in voting for it? Because the goal here is, with the summary that John started and that Kelly, perfected, is to get people to vote yes for it. But at deliberative, we're just not sure what's going to happen. So it's kind of having that ammunition in John's summary and what Kelly will now add to it. Go ahead, Mary Ann.
A couple of things. I think it was at the Meet the Town Manager session at the senior center that people brought up the fact that they wanted walkways. And
That was a big conversation,
yeah, I mean, the seniors want this. So would it be appropriate to send an email out, from the
To the
senior
budget
center
committee?
out for the deliberative session, that this warrant article is gonna be discussed? And if they're in favor of transportation, walkways, road
They need to be
improvements,
there to vote.
go to the deliberative session?
It's in 3 days, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Well, you could even, I know at the state level, like with bills that we're not in favor of, we can reach out to our legislators, we can show
Right.
up at the hearings. I wonder, Dan, you might know, like, 'cause I know the council gets inundated with emails, but if
The
people
more the
are
merrier.
concerned, then you send them to the budget committee and the council, cause that way maybe the council can help defend certain things too.
Yeah, because
Then-
these are voices
yeah.
out there that are not being heard.
Right, I mean, I think that's, Mary
The
Ann.
part I don't understand, and maybe you can educate me, way back when we started talking about this, I thought I was told that the reason we can't have just cart is it has to match the wording of the original
RSA.
RSA.
right. And that
It
we
can be
had no
used,
control over that, because I thought that that's what started our concern of, since we only need the money once a year to pay cart, or if we pay the monthly,
Yeah.
there's a lot of money that's gonna sit there and it could get sidelined we could not make it just for CART. So I'm puzzled why the budget committee thinks that they can make it just for CART. I
Because
thought we couldn't.
They are talk, their reasoning is not about the best way to do this. They don't trust the town management and the town council
And future
to,
ones,
in
more, I
the,
think.
down the road, either next week or 5 years from now, they don't trust them if there's more uses for that money to not,
scoop it up.
just scoop it away. Now, that.
And I understand that argument,
Yeah,
except how can they do what I thought couldn't be done?
Well-
They have to match the RSA wording.
So what happens
think it's
is,
the
at
wording.
No.
the deliberative session,
Yeah.
it's up to the council and other people to explain this to the people and say, this is not a good idea. Because, for example, if they come in and they say, we're gonna change the wording in here and we want it specifically for CART. All right, and CART costs the town, let's say, $50,000 a year. Okay, just for
Right
argument's sake.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
right.
now, yeah.
It costs $50,000, and the fee is $5. You cannot collect
200,000.
$200,000 if you're doing a program for 50.
Right.
Okay? The other thing is, if it's specifically for CART, what happens if CART goes away tomorrow and there's another organization out there? So,
Right.
that's why this is the way it should be done,
Yeah.
and this will be explained to the people. I know there's, so, the chairman from the budget committee has made it very clear, he wants to change it. And it's gonna be up to myself and other people to explain why we cannot change it. And the town manager will be very clear about why we cannot change it,
Thank you.
okay?
And then we vote.
And
So
then
if
we
you're not
vote.
there to vote, then it might not. you
So
know.
what will happen
important
is,
to be there.
person gets up and says, I want to amend this, and I just want it to say CART, for example. And then they'll vote on that amendment. If that amendment fails, it goes back to this.
Right.
And this is what will go to the
That will go
voters.
through.
Yeah.
I mean, even we do the walking club. There isn't even a sidewalk to get from the senior center to the rail trail. You do the rail trail, some of those streets like Clark, there's no light to flash to let you cross over. We have other good uses.
And that's
really
in
do.
there, that says it,
Strategic
signals, it says
And that's what this
paths.
article will help us do.
Yeah.
Because the strategic meeting the other day, if you remember, John, it got brought up,
Yeah.
that people want, like, to get from the Baldwin to the library using trails. There is other use for this money.
And
Yes.
one example that I use
Exactly.
is Winding Pond Road. If you go down Winding Pond Road,
Yeah,
there's a 55 and older community on the left-hand side.
okay.
All right. Let's say those people say, it'd be nice if we had a crosswalk, signalized crosswalk, so we could go to Shaw's, walk to Shaw's. This, is something that the funds could be used for,
Right.
something like that.
Well, I'm worried about, I agree with everything you said, but I'm kind of thinking about the strategy at the meeting, okay? I remember clearly how, from last year, how something simple, a no-brainer, okay, can easily go down the drain once people start having a debate about it, okay? So, the question is how best to approach this. I'm reasonably certain that they're gonna try to do this because they're just adamant about it.
Yeah.
So the question is, based on what I was talking about, what I seen last night about how we can use this alternate piece and so on, and I bring that up as part of, I assume that the budget committee or somebody is gonna speak about this first before it's open up to questions. If I bring that up at the beginning, okay, and the whole concept of using the, you need a safety valve, you can't take it, okay. Whether or not, okay, that then puts them into Plan B. And I have no idea what Plan B is, and they changed it to some other thing. But all of a sudden, you'll start seeing hands popped up, well, I don't wanna use it for this, I wanna use it for that, and then all of a sudden, it's a free-for-all. And so it's a strategy is how best to work around that. Is it better to leave everything alone, wait for them to have the say, and then contradict? which is.
That's what I would do. And-
Yeah, so,
And the other thing,
but either way, it's dangerous, I mean, not dangerous, but it's risky.
the other thing is, you can have the town manager, okay, we're gonna ask the town manager to be very clear about what the RSA is,
Right.
why it's there, and how we have to follow the law to this. And if we change it, we'll have attorneys there that can tell us,
Right.
no, you can't do that, it'll violate the RSA or whatever. So, you just have to go really,
Well-
John, by who knows what people are gonna
Yeah, I
ask,
don't-
and
I'm not worried about the rest of the people, I'm worried about the budget committee turning this into, a more open
Well, there's
session.
not a dollar amount on it?
What?
Do you think, Dan, there's not a dollar
the
amount?
budget
So
committee
they
has
can
no,
present it,
the budget
right.
committee really,
I
has
think
no
he's
authority
doing it
on
as
No
this.
business
Right.
being
He's not
in
doing it
this-
as
Because it's not a budget,
person.
it's not a
He's doing
budgetary.
it as
item.
a resident.
Right.
is
Right,
what
they're gonna do it- he's
my
going-
understanding.
Yeah, he's gonna do it as a resident.
Yeah.
Just like,
Anybody
if
else?
you
can.
remember last year, he wanted to cut 500,000 off the budget.
Yeah.
And made that attempt. People spoke,
Right.
and that got shut down, so, same thing.
Is
Well, I-
the
yeah.
proposal, sorry.
Oh, no,
Ray,
no,
just
go,
interrupt.
please, go.
Is the proposal literally just to cut it down to only cart,
Yes.
To add
Yes.
that verbiage in, so it's for only transportation.
as opposed to like all these?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And I do think it's
Or it
kind
could
of what
be-
Mary
we
Jo
could
was
do one or
saying, that
two, but-
I think he's going back to how it originally was discussed last year and all, but it's grown, it's now going to incorporate so much more. And then there is a use for the money down the road and for the things that we want, the pedestrian ways, which will grow the community. But I think he is looking at it from where it was, but you made a good point. CART has been so volatile in the time I've been on this, and right now you're having it goes up, it goes down, so it could be, wagon tomorrow, we don't know, right?
I think
So-
with Dan talking for it and explaining his views on it,
Yeah.
John will have his, say, we don't have to talk about like all the old stuff.
Yeah,
We
I
wanna
think
stick,
this
we
is
wanna
more.
keep it to this, not what happened
Right.
in the
And
past.
why we want this to go
This,
forward.
we don't wanna go in the past,
Yeah.
and then the town manager's gonna speak, we're gonna have more than just, a person going up there that
Right.
wants to do this.
Yeah.
So
I think you're in
it's
good,
gonna be-
I think you're in good
I
hands.
think you're-
I
I
don't
think
think
you-
you have to worry about it.
I don't
John.
think, yeah.
I don't. I mean, I would also,
I'm
consider,
not so much worried about it,
No.
I'm just
Prepared.
asking
You
about
wanna
the
be prepared.
way
Right.
that we approach this. Now, also, the thing, you just brought up a very good point, and that is, this is not a garden variety warrant article. I don't think the town has ever actually did anything comparable to this. We're putting forth a warrant article and putting it for now, simply because there's no mechanism to put it on the warrant anytime else. So everybody perceives this as, just like all the rest of the warrant articles, just like one for a fire truck and all that. So they don't understand the dynamics of the money coming in and why we can't do this, but we can do that, and.
But that's what I think Dan's gonna talk about, and
But
then the town
point is-
manager's gonna talk about.
The only point is, we need to hold the conversation somehow to a minimum, and the only conversation we know we potentially can have, and that's the one with the budget committee. So what I'm just saying is, how do we address this? Do we do, wait?
I mean, I don't want to alarm you, John, but, you talk about the wording. Somebody in the budget committee, if that individual could say, I want to reduce it from $5 to $2.
$2, $1.
Okay?
I think that
So-
could be more of our,
So that would be another thing we'd have to,
But that's
come up with the
why, that is why, last night, I found the importance of this second
the
piece,
reasoning.
okay?
It's
That,
important.
I mean,
well,
I
going-
completely dropped that because it wasn't
Yeah.
on there
No,
anymore.
you're right, exactly, John. The one thing I was thinking, and then you led right into it, Dan, is that I know that we have a list, and the town manager might already, but there are many towns that are already doing this, and the $5 has been added. So that would be something if we gave it to you to
Yep.
have in your pocket to say,
Absolutely.
well, we know these communities are doing it, because I am more thinking that could be where we get, well, it's $5, why isn't it?
I mean, unlike some
Yeah.
of my fellow counselors, I support this because I look at it as long-term planning
Long-term planning.
for everybody. You know, I've talked to you, John, about your desire to increase the services for the elderly, all right? And if you have this kind of money in there, it's there for you, you know? And you can increase it and say, we're gonna add Saturdays, or we're gonna add Sundays for people, you know, if they wanna go to church or whatever. So I'm all for this. I prefer this over a $200,000 warrant article.
That won't
Right.
work.
That's,
Okay,
people are gonna be.
that, you know, people have talked about in the past. This to me is a great way to fund this service for our seniors and also provide, other services that they might need for crosswalks or, you know, maybe making a path somewhere. It doesn't have to be a sidewalk. It could be, you know, widening a path
Right,
so they can,
right.
you know, walk, to a certain area.
So we can come
There we
back
go.
with
Yeah.
the argument if they wanna go down to $2, say, but we would like to go for the matching funds.
Right.
So the
Right.
more money we're gonna
Very
go
good
for,
point.
the more we're gonna
Very
get
good
back.
point.
Never-
Right.
There's never
We'll
been a
get-
warrant article
Right.
like this one in terms of the value for money.
Right,
Yeah.
and
That's
we
a
would be
very good
crazy
point.
not to take
To
advantage
match,
of
right,
it.
that's.
And it's
we
not
should
just
be-
for elderly,
It's
it's
for
disabled.
disabled, it's for
Yes.
anyone, yeah.
And we should
Anybody who
also
can't
keep that
drive.
in there.
And
Yeah.
one thing we did hear too at the meeting, and I'm not sure, it doesn't matter who said it, but it was kind of indicated that like, well, you know, well, I don't think about CART, how's CART gonna affect me? And we have to be realistic that for the younger people, CART may not exist, so that also just brings us back to where the walkways, the
Right.
pedestrian
That's good for
areas.
children, that's good for
Right.
any, you know.
So, and that was,
yeah.
you know, when someone young said that, I kinda went like, wow, that's a really good point, cause I'm older, I'm thinking about, you know, CART and these
But
other
we gotta
things.
get that in there.
Yes, and I think the way now Kelly can add into it, the biggest thing we have to remember here is that we have to be at deliberative, and ours is on Saturday at 9:00.
Well,
Bring
it
your
is,
yes.
it is Article 22.
I was kinda hoping
So,
that too.
You know, you don't have to be there bright and early at 9
Oh, good
o'clock
point.
and listen to everything, but, you know, just kind of judge it.
Yeah, that's
It's
a
not gonna be a
valid,
It does go
compromise,
on.
sorry.
yeah, that
Sometimes
is a
it's-
valid point.
I think it was
yes.
1:30 or 2 o'clock last year.
So,
But I
yeah,
think that one thing that would really help to have for information would be how many fleet vehicles,
Allison's
have?
working on that for me, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How many
the
what?
fleet
The fleet
vehicles do we
vehicles.
have? Because I, for example, will pay an extra $30, all right? And I might say, wow, that's a lot,
Yeah.
but you know what? We have all the rental cars.
we do Hertz, all
Okay.
those.
We have
Continental's good.
Continental,
Leander, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Southern New Hampshire,
Yeah.
concrete,
We
yeah,
got
all their
Comcast, I
vehicles.
just did a ton of Comcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, we'll get
So
that
all
to
of
you,
those.
yeah,
they're all contributing to this as well,
Yes, it is.
which is, which is,
which is a perk, a really
yeah,
good
yeah,
thing.
which is
That's
really
great,
good for people
yes.
to understand.
And
It
it's
is,
difficult for
yeah.
them to back out.
So I think maybe, John, like, cause I wanna keep us to our 7, is that thinking of deliberative, really, the warrant article is gonna be presented and, read by the moderator, and then if discussion does happen, then I think, Dan, you're our liaison,
Yep.
we kinda let Dan, you know,
Go
be
for
our
it, yeah.
voice. Town manager will jump in because he has been helpful and understands this.
Yep.
And then, I think we
If
just
there's
have
any
to read the
clarification,
room.
John can
Like,
talk
I don't
about
know
it,
if you, like, if you want, should John go up to the mic, or should we just kind of, I think, read the room a little bit, right? What do
Yeah,
you
I'd
think?
think
think
just
reading the room is
read the
a good
room
idea.
and see.
Well, let me ask you this.
Let's see what happens with any amendments.
Right. 'Cause,
How much
yeah.
do you think
How many-
21 will affect 22? Cause that has a lot to do with transportation.
That was the
21.
one that we were hoping they weren't together, but they are.
They are.
One after the other.
Yeah.
It's a capital reserve fund for transportation and the same kind of improvements. They kind of read the same.
But that's a one-shot,
I don't
Yeah.
think.
that's
I
just a
don't think-
one-shot,
That's a
that's it.
one-shot.
It does, it's not in perpetuity, so
But we are almost supplementing that.
they have to go
Yeah,
every
we are.
single time
We are,
back
but
for
I don't
more.
really think,
And
The way we're-
town manager will be very clear on that.
Yeah, definitely.
What
Okay.
transportation are they talking
I'll,
about?
I'll talk to town manager about strategy on
I
that.
think we should just remember our bullet points.
Right,
Yes,
exactly.
we have seniors and disabled on there, but it's going to make our community better.
It's,
We're
yeah,
getting matching funds.
We're an aging community.
We are we're.
Speak for
we're
yourself.
helping
Excess
our
money.
infrastructure.
Hi, Ray.
We just have to.
Hi,
Excess
Ray.
money can be used for so many different things, for, you know,
Just keep to
a
the
lot of
point.
different things, yeah.
This other point about the, fixing the roadways and so on, we need to get that in there, cause it's important in a lot of different ways, okay? It's something helps justify
I
$5,
fully understand.
$5
I fully understand it,
before,
John.
right?
I understand that.
So that.
And it's not gonna be for
extra
potholes
piece
and all that, I mean, it's gonna be
does
for
in fact say there's
crosswalks
more in it
and
than-
transportation and, you know,
There's more.
movability
let's face it,
for
there's
people
more
in the
people
town.
down the drive that
Moving
don't.
people.
It is.
You don't
That's
have to
where
convince me, you don't have to,
Infrastructure
Exactly.
you're preaching to the choir,
All right,
John.
everyone, let me just
Okay.
bring it in for just a minute here, because it is 7 o'clock. And what I want to stress too, it may go, we may not have to, we need all this prep work we don't even have to use, maybe it's just
Just
gonna
go
be.
through, yeah.
And it's not gonna happen what we're thinking might.
I think-
But it doesn't just mean that, you know, Dan will present, our town manager, John will go up. We all can go up, so if it gets to a point, like you've all made very good points, like
Yeah,
Mary Del,
don't be
like what
shy,
you said
you know?
about the people mover, Mary Ann just said, like you can go up to that mic and say, hey, wait a minute,
Absolutely.
you know? This is so that we have more movement for everyone, and as, right,
Human mobility.
right. And I mean,
Right.
so we can have a voice if we need it, but I
So
think.
watch
it-
for me
yeah.
if I go like this.
Yeah, yeah. watch it.
Come on.
Right.
Come on.
We need to talk about this.
Okay, and then
only
we're,
for 5 minutes.
you know what we're gonna do with the 2-minute elevator speech.
Okay.
So, and John, I think we can come back to this too, but, John has been working with the Southern New Hampshire Transportation
No, Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission.
Planning
Yeah,
Commission.
planning.
They
on the-
planning
yeah,
commission,
they
on the-
put this together for us.
which is incredible. It's really advertisement that they've created to help us promote the warrant article, more after we get through deliberative, wouldn't you say, John? Because they're gonna make adaptations to it. And I put some on the table so you could see it, but would you agree that once we get to deliberative, then they're going to tweak this so that we can use it
Yeah,
as
cause I don't like that road
advertisement
bridge
down the
maintenance
road?
and all
Well, look, there's two things about this. One, they did this early days with with more interest. We can ask them to make some changes to this in terms of the usage and so on. What we can't ask them to do is make this an ad in favor of
Right.
the thing. They put this together as an informational thing to explain kind of the mechanics of the
The
$5
RSA.
fee and so on. So, but we can use it in a way, because if we make some changes to this, so it's just like they want it, we probably can do like a pin-up or pin piece or something that kind of goes with it, that ties it to the warrant article and so on. I don't think they'd be annoyed by that. I'll ask them before. No, I wouldn't have them do it. We'll do it. But I don't want them to get mad at us because we broke some
Put
rules.
something right next to it that
Yeah,
says,
yeah.
warrant article,
Right,
22,
absolutely. Right, and you know, because this is very important, and it's wonderful that they've created this with the graphics, and John had said they would work with us to adapt it too. So once we get through deliberative, there's no reason we couldn't call a quick subcommittee meeting for those who could attend, it could be during the day, and then really just focus on this, because then this is going to be part of our PR to get to ballot with it. So
But
are
this
you
is-
comfortable with
yeah,
that, John?
Absolutely, and this is
Okay.
an excellent handout, isn't it?
Yeah.
This has all the information we're gonna need to deliver. It's a good handout, and these two together.
Would be powerful.
Right,
You're
right.
right.
Yeah.
And then we start our PR campaign for it.
Mm-hmm.
Before deliberative, do make an effort to really read through the summary that Kelly and John have created, and so
I'll also
that-
probably change it
Email
quite
it.
a bit after the discussions tonight as
Oh,
well.
perfect,
but I
okay.
will update it and send it to you.
Kelly,
Are
all
we
right,
currently
perfect.
using CART?
Yeah.
Can we have this posted in their buses? For Londonderry residents to see while they're on the bus?
Ilona probably can ask.
I doubt
I
it.
doubt they will, but.
They might.
Yeah, I don't know if they
You know,
do
I think of
they
obstruction,
think of-
I'm
yeah.
not sure
Okay.
though, but anything else at all?
She'll have it at the
Thomas-
senior center,
Yeah,
too.
Thomas, you know, Pam, anything, thank you, this is your first meeting, and, we had such a focused topic, but, you know, if you have anything, and we're growing, we have other things, Boston Post Cane things we'll be talking about, so, thank you for your patience in trying to absorb all this. Anyone else before we adjourn? See you at deliberative, who's gonna make that motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, and Mary Ann's gonna second it, so, thank you, everyone.
Everybody
in
just turn
favor?
off